BEIN TV, connected to your world.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to BEIN News Updates, bringing you news that made headlines during the week, broadcasting from Benab House, Atomic Junction, Medina. My name is Khadija Kubra Keilani. You can also join us live on Facebook and YouTube at BEIN TV. Now to our first story. The challenging economic circumstances currently has affected the cost of goods and services in the country, including sanitary pads. The price of sanitary pads has shot up from 5 cedis, currently selling at 20 Ghana cedis. BEIN News take a look at the worrying issue.
The soaring inflation has pushed up the cost of pads in Ghana, driving more girls out of school or to unhygienic alternatives that can cause infections and infertility, says health experts. As a result, some young girls are unable to use hygienic products during menstruation. Some of these girls and women have resorted to the use of toilet papers, while others are using rags. Speaking to BEIN News, some of these young girls expressed their frustrations about the costs and challenges they are facing.
The 12 cities, the 10 cities. Oh, need they affect na pa so enzo man na use tissue ni sometimes. Don't you say na be kaiki. Instead of a kaiki come on, ki use twice in a day na. You have to use in she. Be kai 5 days, she carry. Maybe sometimes come in a flow 7 days. So now use tissue mix.
I don't know. Now me pada me use 1 cedi 50 pesos. Say see ano. Now no me ko bu some see 22 cedi. This say last month me hear me menses me use tomago because me to me talk. Me problem you know.
Some women also lamented how worrying it is when they have to buy pads for themselves as well as their children.
Hawaii 20 cedis. Muna say she 9 cedis, 12 cedis. Yenzu 20 cedis ton. Nse makaina, nse madiana. Ya yi. BEIN ye duba. Abin yana damu mu sosai.
Yaran mata na suna da yawa. Yaran mata na da yaran aiki nan sun zama kamar su shida. Sai shi na da wuya. Kusa yanzu wani different one da bai da suna. Shi yake yawo da shi yake sada shi 8 cedi. Wannan ma an kasa bai da kyau haka. Bai sham, bai soak. Isa ku duba saboda Allah ku rage mu.
Ani yasan sai yasan yan ya tono 12 cedis e wa adaka en mu baako. Ni yaso ya betono 16 cedis, 18 cedis. Yes, sir, aban no say o ma pa ne boa no ba form ai ma yen. Yes, sir, ni bebe ne ka.
Yeah, sa sika na de aka ho na o de to no. E ka betim that different thing. But say o say on fam beto we. Ohun. Inte esa na nyama bi won affairs utimi to isa untimi nto.
Menstruation is a natural thing in the life of every woman. It happens every month in the life of every woman who has reached puberty. It also lasts between 2 to 7 days. It only stops when a woman reaches menopause, and there is a need for every woman to prepare adequately for it every month. Sanitary pads are therefore considered a necessity. In Ghana, there is a 20% luxury tax and an additional 12.5% VAT on sanitary pads that are further pushing the prices up. Women and young girls in the country are pleading with the government to reduce the tax on sanitary pads. Majority of women and young girls pleaded with the government to take action in ensuring girls and women, especially those in rural areas, are eased of the financial burden of sanitary pads. There have been calls for the abolishment of the 20% luxury tax on sanitary pads by civil society organizations and women groups in the country. The government, in its first term in office, slapped a 20% luxury tax on imported sanitary pads. The government explained that the 20% levy is necessary because sanitary pads are categorized as luxury products per the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) guidelines. Though there have been promises to scrap it, it is yet to be done.
Some head porters in the Medina markets are calling on the government to come to their aid so as to make life comfortable for them. They say as a result of high inflation in Ghana, the cost of living has become unbearable for them. The headquarters, also referred to as Kayayes, lamented on the rate at which prices of goods are escalating.
The Kayayes in the Medina market say they are not in the profession because they like it, but rather it is due to lack of opportunities, and it also serves as means of livelihood. Others also say that they did not receive any financial support from their parents, and that led them into the trade. Some of them also say that because they did not have the opportunity to have any formal education, and so they do not want the same to happen to their children. They are therefore laboring to provide for their children's academic success. According to them, a promise was made to them to allocate some hostels during the elections by the government, but they are yet to see that and therefore are currently in great need of a place to stay after work. They therefore want the government to come to their aid.
Anka, sisi bibi etra project gotano. Ntuntumba bi osa, onya duenu pepampo ndi. Fitiane penyina ebetena ha. Mbobo keke. And sisi de kuyi. Omo amboa ya de aka ha. Hanon so ayaka na.
Recently, the president of the Kayaye Youth Association, Mohammed Osman, said there are about 35,000 Kayayes operating in 5 commercial cities in the country, namely Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, Techiman, and Ho. He said data the association collected showed that Accra had 18,561 Kayayes. Kumasi had 15,298 of them. Tamale's number stood at 620. Techiman with 527 and Ho with 435. Their ages range from 10 to 40, and many of them have fled from forced marriages and poverty and are seeking jobs and better living standards. The government announced plans to put up a hostel facility for headquarters at Agbogboloshi in Accra to help address their accommodation challenges. The Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, who disclosed this when he presented the 2020 budget statement to Parliament on Wednesday, November 12, 2019, said the construction of the facility will begin in December 2019. This project is yet to start.
The National Identification Authority, NIA, has commenced issuing refugee identity cards to refugees living in the country. With this, the beneficiaries will be able to access some social services in the country.
The acting executive secretary for the Ghana Refugee Board, Paddy Tete, has therefore commended the NIA for this exercise. He also disclosed that some over 7,000 refugees will benefit from this exercise. He says it is important to note that the card doesn't grant them nationality and they don't have the right to vote. The only thing that was said is that the card gives them the right to social services in order to live in safety and dignity. The 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 protocol outline the rights of refugees as well as the legal obligations of states to protect them, including the right to social services.
Also, in other stories, the Accra High Court has dismissed an application by 9 people challenging the legality of the registration of SIM cards with the Ghana card as the source of documents. The applicants were seeking the court to quash the decision by the Minister of Communications to make the Ghana card the only registration documents.
In September this year, the People's Project, TPP, sued the National Communications Authority, NCA, and the Attorney General over the ongoing SIM card re-registration exercise. They want the court to declare the deadline and associated punitive measures unconstitutional. The applicants also wanted the court to quash a directive by the ministry for everyone to register within a certain period or risk their SIM cards being blocked. 9 other persons have also dragged the NCA, National Communications Authority, to the High Court over its directive on SIM card re-registration. Meanwhile, the court, presided over by Justice Charles BEIN, held that the applicant failed to prove that the National Communications Authority acted arbitrarily or in excess of its powers. It says the NCA has the full legal mandate to conduct the SIM re-registration exercise, and NCA has not exceeded its powers or breached the natural justice principle, as there have been sufficient extensions of the deadlines for the registration exercise. The NCA, therefore, is taking the opportunity to remind all consumers that the NCA, therefore, is taking the opportunity to remind all consumers that the SIM registration exercise is currently ongoing, and consumers who have not yet registered their SIM cards are entreated to do so.
Also in politics, the Member of Parliament for the Jomro constituency, Dorcas Afo-Tofe, has won the election petition case against her eligibility as an elected MP over her alleged Ivorian citizenship. The Secondary High Court, presided by Justice Dr. Richmond Osei, dismissed the petition and declared the MP eligible on grounds that she lost her Ivorian citizenship at the very time she acquired her Ghanaian citizenship. Joshua Emua Kofi challenged the eligibility of the MP to contest as a representative of the people in the constituency on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress (NDC). He says the MP holds multiple nationalities, including American and Ivorian citizenships, which contravenes the 1992 constitutions. Dorcas Afo-Tofe, however, denied having American citizenship and claimed to have also renounced her Ivorian citizenship. The court concluded that Joshua Emua Kofi has failed to demonstrate that Dorcas Afo-Tofe was not qualified to contest the 2020 parliamentary elections organized by the Electoral Commission in the Jomro constituency. It says he has not produced any evidence to his claims. This would be a welcome news for the opposition, NDC, and the minority in parliament, as it adds to 8 numbers in parliament. Also in business, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has said that the government wishes to increase the country's value-added tax by 2.5% in 2023. According to him, the proposal to increase the rate forms part of the government's 7-point agenda to revitalize the economy.
The standard VAT rate is 12.5%, except for suppliers of a wholesaler or retailer of goods, which are taxed of a total flat rate of 3%. Meanwhile, Mr. Ofori-Atta has revealed that the government will reduce the controversial and burdensome electronic transactions levy from the current 1.5% to 1% and also reduce the threshold from 100 per transaction. According to him, the move is one of the various initiatives the government intends to roll out to turn the economy around and lessen the severe economic hardship that Ghanaians are currently going through. Regarding the economic challenges, he told Parliament that the government was determined to change the narrative after admitting that the economy has been going through troubles. The finance minister has come under a lot of criticism for his handling of the economy, and both the minority and majority MPs are calling for his removal.
52.86% of businesses, according to a 2023 pre-budget survey by accounting and auditing firm KPMG, have indicated that their organization have been impacted by galamsey activities. They are therefore proposing that government implement stringent measures to tackle the galamsey menace.
Whilst 44.1% of respondents who have been impacted by galamsey stated it has impacted their water supply, 20% of the respondents indicated galamsey has impacted their human resources. In terms of satisfaction levels of respondents in government's tackling of the fight against illegal mining, majority of the respondents representing 84.3%, are not satisfied with government's effort in tackling illegal mining. In terms of key areas of prime importance to businesses, 46% of the respondents stated that human resource development is of prime importance to their business. Also, 23% of the respondents stated that raw material is of prime importance to their business. Meanwhile, the top three goals that respondents think the 2023 budget should focus on are quality education, affordable and clean energy, and climate action. Again, decent work and economic growth, good health and well-being, as well as climate action are also the top three sustainable development goals for businesses, according to the survey. The survey revealed that the current economic climate means the government should strengthen its effort to mitigate increased poverty.
Also, in some international stories, members of parliament in the West African nation of Sierra Leone engaged in a physical fight after disagreeing on a new electoral system. A video footage posted on Twitter shows lawmakers exchanging punches and shouting inside the parliament building.
The parliamentarians threw a huge object from one side of the chamber to the other and then back. Members from the governing and opposition parties were pitted against each other over a plan to bring in proportional representation for next year's local and general elections. The West African Nations Electoral Commission advised switching to a proportional representation system for next year's local and parliamentary elections, excluding presidential polls. The opposition claims the move would be unconstitutional when the government backs the plan. Meanwhile, for it to be passed, it requires parliamentary approval. The fight erupted around 100 GMT and had quieted down by afternoon. According to local reports, the police intervened to calm down the situation and expel disruptive MPs from the chamber. The June 2023 vote will see President Julius Bio, who was first elected in 2018, to contest a second term in office. Last week, lawmakers passed legislation to introduce a gender quota in all elected and appointed positions ahead of next year's election, which had been a major campaign promised by the president in 2018.
And this is all we have for you on our English news updates. For more trending stories and breaking news, log on to BEINmultimedia.com. My name is Khadija Kubra Keilani. Many thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of our programs. Assalamu alaikum.